Okay, venerable brother, venerable sisters, Dhamma friends. So we have come to the last Dhamma discussion of this Kalalgoda month of March retreat. So Shalini is ready with written questions and we will start the session with written questions.
There are only 2 questions.
How many?
2 questions.
Okay.
Dear Bhante, please guide us how to practice in daily life and how much time should we practice meditation per day?
So it depends on you, how much you can invest, so use that. So there is no such limit. So as we know that we are in a retreat environment, then we are maximally utilizing the time. And there is from the morning that you get up till you go to sleep. So the whole time is a kind of a practice session. So there is no time that you say that I am not practicing. There may be formal sitting sessions, formal walking sessions, but every other time also included in the practice. So that's why we talk about the daily activities, mindfulness in daily activities. So that indicates that even during the daily activities we have to be mindful. Because you know that the defilements don't have any excuse. So they don't have any mercy in a way. So we have to be mindful, otherwise we may get trapped to the defilements. So the mindfulness is kind of the refuge in that sense. But on the other hand, depending on your circumstances, probably you can recognize, okay, morning I have a little bit of time, then I better, before going to the office, okay, I am practicing. Before going to the college, before going to the university, I am practicing. Maybe during the lunch hour, if you are working, probably you can spend some time in the practice. So after coming back home, again you can practice. Before going to sleep, again you can practice. And so likewise, you need to find out such kind of intervals where you can spend some time for yourself. And even if you are engaged with so many activities, time to time you better ground yourself. Now say for example, you are using a computer. Now rather than using it continuously, fully indulge in it, so time to time come out of it. Say within half an hour, maybe within 1 hour, just come out of that task and calm down and relax and see how your body is placed, whether you are able to ground yourself. Because otherwise what happens is these activities slowly build up some stress, and you being completely deviated in that, you being very much like consumed by that, not knowingly you are building certain amount of a stress. But time to time if you are grounding us, so that opportunity is abandoned, so you release that stress. So say 1 hour you are spending fair amount of involved type of an activity, fully you are there, but after that you are getting a reminder, okay, again now let go of the whole thing, come back, be present, come back to yourself. So that helps to ground yourself, release the stress and calm down, tranquilize, all that is there. So therefore time to time or intermittent stress release is there. So kind of a intermittent stress release program has to be worked out. So that will help you to always be grounded. It doesn't mean that you are neglecting your work, you are doing that as well. But time to time you are coming back to the senses. Not fully deviated from the practice. And then the dedicated practice is fully for that. Say during the walking session you try to be fully with it. During the sitting session try to be fully with it. So likewise the kind of a strengthening of your faculties, and then slowly you may understand it is now pervading. Mindfulness is pervading, enhancing, expanding. So then even the daily activities are slowly included to your practice. Now you can say from the morning to evening to the night, so I am maintaining the practice. So it is not, I can say that I am not practicing at any place. Almost like every time is a practice session. There's a beautiful book called Living Meditation, Living Insight by one Burmese doctor, Dr. Thin Living Meditation, Living Insight. Probably you can download that and you can read it. And it was translated to Sinhala Jivitema Bhavanavaki. So it's a very beautiful book, Jivitema Bhavanavaki, indicating that the whole life is a meditation. So therefore, it is not that meditation is kind of an outside activity to our life, but the whole life is a type of meditation. So she beautifully crafting or kind of presenting that idea. So how you are integrating all the activities into the practice and making use of that. Now say for example, if you consider Dhammanupassana. So the first it starts with the Nissarana Pabbha. Kamacchanda, Vyapada, Tina Midda, Uddhajja Kukucca, Vicikicca, sensual desires, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness, worries, doubts. Now do you think that these are happening during the sitting session? I mean, these are happening during the daily activities, isn't it? When you are living your life, these things are happening. So it is up to us to do the Dhammanupassana on that time. So the Dhammanupassana is not like that you are doing, it is happening only during the formal sitting session or formal walking session. But every time, if our minds are sharp enough, then we may be able to trace these defilements, trace these Nissarana, hindrances. Then we are making use of that, whatever it is. So therefore, we can give a kind of a schedule, okay, this is my meditation time, this is my walking time. That is also necessary, particularly, but slowly then expand it as much as possible.
Dear Bhante, my siblings and parents are having money issues. I donate and help in whatever way possible, also practicing compassion and loving kindness. I wish I could give more. However, I think about their money problems and needs constantly and also feel guilty and responsible for being more blessed with money or when I buy or pay for non-essentials. I also have my own family and kids to look after and care for. How can I get rid of this guilt and how can I know what I give them is enough?
So they may not tell it enough. For some people, I mean, even though you give much, they don't say enough. So, I mean, you can't find such satisfaction from the other parties. Sometimes, very honest people say, okay, it is enough. I'm done. Enough for me. But often they ask more, they request more, they are happy to have more. So that is this world. So you better know your limits, isn't it? I mean, we are the practicing ones, we are the ones we can understand, okay, so what are my limits? So okay, I have to look after my family, my kids. I have my own affairs. At the same time, I am helping others. That's also a good thing. So, by the way, what are my limits? So, generosity definitely is a really good quality. At the same time, it doesn't mean that we are neglecting our welfare, completely involving with others' welfare. So, we also included in the cycle. So, you are another person in a way. So, now say for example, you are practicing metta meditation. So, in metta meditation, you also included, isn't it? So, may I be well, may I be happy, may I be free from suffering. May others be well, may others be happy, may others be free from suffering. So all are beings in a way. So we are talking in the conventional level actually. So all are considered as beings and all beings, including myself, may everyone be well, everyone be happy, everyone be free from suffering, including ourselves. So neglecting our welfare and over enthusiastically, compassionately going to the other affairs is a kind of a mistake. So that happens sometimes. Certain practices are there that they neglect themselves and only consider the others' welfare, putting themselves into a risk kind of thing. But that is not something Buddha recommended. So there are certain suttas like Buddha talking about 4 people. One person neglecting his welfare, neglecting the other's welfare. Another person neglecting others' welfare, only look after their growth, their welfare. Another person neglecting their welfare and only looking after the others' welfare. Another person considering everybody's welfare, considering oneself as well as the others. So what do you think? Which order that Buddha taken? So the lowest may be the one who is neglecting both, right? So not looking after oneself and not helping the others. So that is the lowest kind. Next. Either neglecting oneself and looking after another, or neglecting others and looking after yourself. Which one is the second? Second is given to the looking after others, neglecting yourself. So Buddha recommended the other one. That means, so he admire, okay, looking after yourself and maybe neglecting the others. Because that person may later convert, by the way. Because he has some time for him, it is not a continuous negligence to the others. Because at a point he will kind of blossom. At first he is very much like looking after himself, true. Now often this comes as an accusation for the practitioners, say particularly for the meditators. Some people start accusing, okay, you guys are really selfish, you don't come and help me in the kitchen, you are just sitting and cross-legged and you are looking after the breath, what's the use of looking after this air? So this is a very typical general accusation. But it doesn't mean that that person is entirely, through his whole life, he is doing like that. So at a given moment, if he is thoroughly, properly taking this path, so there is an opportunity that he will become selfless. But if you completely neglect you and only look after the others, so you are ignorant way, in a way. You are more emotional. You are in a kind of a trap. So emotionally you are involving in the others' affairs, and those will never end, never finding time for you to develop in a way. So you may not accomplish in your side. In a way, your side is failure. You are trying the others' welfare. So obviously the last one is the best. That is where you are looking after yourself as well as you look after the others, both. So therefore, looking after yourself is not a bad thing. But as you know, it also has to have a certain amount of spiritual part. It is not merely materialistically being selfish. Rather, here we are talking something different, where you are looking after yourself, particularly the spiritually, because while being you in the mud, in a pit, or in a, kind of a, in a really helpless situation, taking another person from such a situation is impossible. So you can read now actually the next part of Salleka Sutta is Buddha talking that. He is giving that simile in the Salleka Sutta. You being trapped, you being ignorant, you being completely untamed, telling that I am going to tame another person, taking someone from the mud, taking someone from out of the ignorance is impossible. So if you are free from it, if you are well-to-do, if you are able to handle yourself, tame yourself, know about yourself, then helping another person is possible, doable. So therefore, these are interesting things. Sometimes we think, okay, I should be able to help, I should be able to guide, everything is there. But sometimes if you haven't looked after yourself, if you completely neglected yourself, at a given moment you might give an entirely wrong example. That's also possible, isn't it? Such examples are also there in the society. Say certain monks are there, they are keep on telling good things, not a bad thing. But all of a sudden they have changed and they have disrobed and They have taken a completely misbelief. All the followers are almost like abandoned, all the helpless. Because they didn't have much time to look after themselves, isn't it? So therefore it's a kind of a both-way scenario. So we can't neglect our own welfare. So our own welfare also has to be considered. Then parallelly, if you can look after the others, help others, that's the best. That's all, no? Questions?
Yes, Bhante. Now this yogis one is on the materialistic side, no?
So materialistic side, yes, then we can say, so if you are only talking about the materialistic side, being selfish and acquiring everything to you and never sharing, so that is stinginess, that is miserliness, so that is not recommended. So generosity is something for you to practice, because we are talking very mundane level, you have neglected your own welfare in a way. That's also, isn't it? That you haven't looked at that spiritual side at all. You think that your material growth, wealth is the achievement, is the progress, neglecting that spiritual qualities in a way. So that means utter miserliness, very narrow-minded. So that is not recommended. Instead, Buddha say, okay, you need to practice generosity, you need to practice dana, you need to open up, you need to share with others. So that is there. Materialistically, definitely we have to turn into that. Yeah, I agree with you. So those are the questions we have received. And yesterday, Dhamma sermon, actually I thought of a little bit explaining, because as Venerable Dhammobasa pointed me out, so the Dhamma sermon is a bit difficult. What we have taken as the theme, Kalakarama Sutta, that the plane of Satcha, the plane of truth. So that term that we want to deliver, then he pointed out the name of that logic is called quadrilemma. Quadrilemma, right? Sorry? Tetralemma. So you can search a little bit of that tetralemma. That's an ancient Indian type of a logic system. Tetralemma. So as I mentioned, so we know on-off. On is one state, off is another state. But we can introduce another two states logically. On and off, not on, not off. Or another example we can say, but I don't know, it has a little bit of, I feel kind of error is there, but we can explain like black, white, black and white, not black, not white. Do you get the point? Black is opposite white. Now these are the two states, black, white. Then we can get another one called black and white. Another one telling not black, not white. So similarly, on, off, on and off, not on, not off. Similarly, right, wrong, right and wrong, not right, not wrong. So this is how the tetralemma is called. So therefore, in the sutta, so at first Buddha say, I know everything. Basically, that is the omniscience. Sarvajna Bhumi, where he declare, okay, I know everything. So when he has taken the first state, telling I know everything, now if he say, I do not know, then it is a mistake. It is a falsehood. Again, if he say, I know and not know, again it is a mistake. Again it is a falsehood. And again if he say, I not know as well as not know, that is also a mistake. So basically he is denying the other three states of this tetralemma. Only confirming the first state, I know, that's it. So therefore it is a more confirmation, more affirming of his understanding. So that's why the commentary says this is the Satcha Bhumi, where he is well established in the truthfulness, and he is there, he know it, he state it, he declare it, I know. So very interesting. I mean, these things are sometimes discussed in certain suttas. Certain questions are there that you can't directly answer. So those questions Buddha has kept aside. And only valid, reasonable, practical questions he answered. And often people get into some dogmatic kind of views, their hypothetical views, they start arguing. And they try to get the Buddha also to that. Buddha saying, no, I am not interested. Okay, that's the only thing I need to just clarify, because the topic what we were discussing yesterday is a bit maybe a little difficult or maybe a little confusing. But when we know the kind of analogy between some simple examples, you can understand what Buddha is trying to convey us. Okay, if you have any question, we have some more time. Otherwise, we can wind up the session. Yeah, go ahead.
Bhante, on Chittanupassana, now we are supposed to observe the thoughts, no?
Right.
So the thoughts can lead to sankhara, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then, like...
Thought itself is a sankhara.
So thought itself is a sankhara. But if it's like while walking, if we see a leaf falling, then we say, we think, a leaf has fallen. So is that a sankhara then?
Yes, sankhara. But the thing is, now even the Noble Eightfold Path is a sankhara. So, but the interesting point is that sankhara ultimately lead to the visankhara. So that sankhara, Noble Eightfold Path, Sila Samadhi Panya, the result of complete development of Noble Eightfold Path is making all the sankharas still. So it is not the further aggravation or formulation or improvement of the sankhara. Rather, once we are developing the path, all the sankharas are calming down, relaxing, tranquilizing, and ultimately once we arrive the Nibbana, then Sabba Sankhara Samatha, stilling of all the formations. So therefore, thoughts may be there. So, and as you said, whenever we are seeing something, these kind of insights are appearing. That also is a sankhara, it's true. But more, these insights are kind of influencing the mind, brightening the mind, that helps to reduce the sankhara. You know, the fabrications, fantasizations, proliferations, obsessions, all that will be slowly abandoned as we are improving the path.
So my question actually is, now we are supposed to observe these thoughts, no?
Correct.
So sometimes these thoughts turn into a big story, no?
Correct.
So at that point, a yogi should the yogi realize, this is not something where you can be observing because it's really agitating your mind. At that point, like the Vitakka Santana Sutta, as you said, should we start one of those and abandon that?
Exactly, because that means you are not yet up to the standard of doing Chittanupassana. Because at the Chittanupassana level, requires certain amount of already developed skill. Say you need to have some amount of mindfulness, and you are able to clearly see different phenomena, how they are rising, changing, passing away. Certain amount of sampajanya, clear comprehension should be already available. Then only you are capable to say, okay, I can do Chittanupassana. Thoughts are coming, I am away from the thoughts. You are not participating to the thoughts. You are not, fabricating the thoughts further. Rather, you are away from the thoughts. Mind is thinking, doesn't matter, but you have a kind of a mindful space to establish. So while being in that mindful space, you can see how thoughts are coming and popping up and trying to attract me, but I am not fooled. So they are going by themselves. So I allow them to naturally pass away. So therefore, you are in a better position to look at them. So at that time, I am not promoting sankhara in a way. But on the other hand, if we feel weaker, we may get easily absorbed to the sankhara and we start proliferating. So at that moment, at a given moment, if you find you are establishing mindfulness, better, as you said, practice whatever the method as explained in the Vitakka Santana Sutta. You can apply that, or maybe establishing mindfulness on the body or different things and overcome that too much thinking, overthinking. Yeah. Go ahead, come.
අවසරයි වන්තේ today is the first day I didn't write a question.
Right. So you are asking a question now?
Yeah, I thought to ask without writing.
Right.
Actually, Bhante, when practicing itself, I got so silent.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't get any interest to write anything.
Right. So what? Good. I mean, that's why. Now, by the way, I mean, it has both sides. Now, so as we are continuing, Buddha sometimes recommend, so if you find that you are understanding some deep things in a way. Now, previously I didn't have any understanding about those matters, but now little by little, I am understanding even those things. So that indicates our sharpness, our depth of the wisdom is growing. So therefore, in order to improve those, we at least I'm better involved with that kind of activity as well. So therefore I can't say you should abandon all learning. That's kind of an extreme. So if I have to say, okay, don't do any learning, don't read any books, don't listen to any Dhamma, so then we are going to another extreme. So therefore, give some time for you to further learn, little bit of discussion, little bit of reading, listening, that also part, but majority of the time for the practice. Agreed. So therefore, as you develop certain amount of wisdom, then mind is easy to calm down. Now, say for example, say you are not meditating. Suppose you are a university student. So at that time, lot of burden is there in the mind. So you are accumulating lot of information, memorizing lot of things. Once you go to sleep, all that is coming to your mind. So you are stressed. But the yogi, Vipassana yogi, he has to have another skill. So during the learning time, maybe a little bit of stress is there. But during the practice time, he should be able to abandon all that and again calm down the mind, empty the mind, keeping it still. So this skill has to be kind of balanced. So when we are doing an activity, that also done well, going deeper, can understand some subtle shades in the thing. But on the other hand, at another time, we are able to abandon everything, quieten the mind, keep the mind very relaxed, silent. That should be also there. Yeah.
Bhante, when practicing, during that time, when thinking to write a report also.
Yeah. So then it is useless.
Yeah.
Because during the practice, during the practice, if you are planning what to write, then it is you are losing the point. Yeah. So that is another sankhara.
Yeah. That's why I thought, without thinking that also, just practicing.
Correct.
And at the end, then nothing to tell.
So if you have something to report, then you can report. Otherwise, nothing. Yeah.
Again, writing means thinking about past.
Correct, definitely. But the thing is this. Now, we need to reach some level to come to this. You can't do it immediately. So, at one level, you need to report. That is important. Otherwise, we don't know whether we are misleading ourselves. Isn't it? Whether we are going in the correct direction or wrong direction, we don't know. We ourselves might decide, okay, I am going in the correct direction. But we are an amateur, so we don't know whether we are doing it properly. So that's why we encourage yogis to write a report, so then we can communicate and see whether we are in the correct track. But later, we ourselves are confident, we ourselves understand what the Buddha is talking, isn't it? Then we get the confidence, yes, I can understand what Buddha is talking, I can understand what teacher is talking. So my understanding and their teaching is very much the similar. Then you get the confidence. Yeah.
Now I can't remember.
Sorry?
Now I can't remember what I am going to say. No, much merit.
Okay.
Sarai Bhante, the question is on this noting.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say, because when you start with your in-breath and out-breath, so when you start noting that, of course, because that disappears after some time, right? And also if you look at...
You mean which disappears? Breath disappears?
Breath. Right. And also, let's say, then you feel, maybe tightness, hardness. And also when you note it, of course, that also goes off.
Right.
And because I have experience, because if sometimes if I don't note, especially like the light comes, let's say light comes, and if we don't note, right, the color and intensity of light, so what happens is like it increases and increases, and like it absorbs you. And also it could be even the perceptions, that different pictures coming, and if you don't note it, at the beginning, and it will go into, a lot of pictures, like without any control. So my question is now, let's say, so you, at what time, let's say, you start, we note everything that comes, and then there is a kind of a level, there is nothing to note, right? So in that, however, we have this awareness or knowing. So should we note that awareness or knowing? Because I have experienced, like if you note that awareness or knowing, any thoughts wouldn't come. But if we stay without noting it, sometimes, here and there, after some time, we see this thought coming. So, at what level should we take a decision now?
Not
maybe
to note.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, in the Mahasi method, that when there is nothing to note, so they say, okay, you have to note it as danimi, I know, something like that, knowing. But it is also limited. No, I can't say that you need to continuously now say for that. That means if we take it for granted or take it as a too much fixed way, that means there is no time to stop noting, no. Because there are no phenomena to note, but then you are supposed to note as knowing. Then that is also another sankhara, another kind of a thought. So you are doing a kind of vitakka continuously. During that knowing space, something new comes, another thought comes, probably you are telling thought. It is abandoned. Again knowing. Right, now it is little bit of, troublesome or tiresome. So at another time you need to understand, okay, now I don't need to say even that, I can be silently aware. So silent awareness is there. So therefore reaching silent awareness is more sublime, more kind of pure. So that's why in certain suttas like in the Sakkapanya Sutta, in Digha Nikaya, so Buddha say, when you consider about the Vedana, the feelings, certain feelings with vitakka, certain feelings without vitakka. So between these two, feelings without vitakka is more subtle, more sublime. So yeah, we are going in a refining path, no? At one level, we are coming to a level, okay, I need to little note it, otherwise these intruding thoughts come and disturb me. Fine. So you are fortifying your emptiness, telling, okay, empty, oh, knowing or something like that. But later, once you are confident, okay, stop that also and see whether I can fully aware without noting anything, without murmurizing anything, just a complete silence. Then if you are able to come that, then utter silence, complete type of a purity. So therefore, it depends on where we are and what is our capacity, but we definitely have to go to the refinement. Yeah.
Also the other thing that basically, let's say example, if we have a feeling, right? So if we start noting, the issue is that very soon it will disappear.
Right.
But let's say example, without noting, if we just observe that, then only basically I can see how it comes, like how it is moving and all that. Because what I have experienced is, let's say example, if we want to really understand, how it is happening, I experience that I need to give some time without noting, because like if I start noting it as a feeling, what happens is like it disappears very fast. But let's say without noting, if I just observe that area in mind, like I can see more details. So that also I have experienced.
No, that also actually also depends on where you are. Now say for example, so you are practicing say Vedananupassana. So that means still you are working with feelings, no? So different feelings are arising and you are placing your attention there, you are trying to investigate, fine. Now suppose as a result of fair amount of practice, you come into a level that you are not anymore grasping the feelings. Now your mind is free from feelings, free from thinking, free from the bodily sensations, nothing is there. So you reach the emptiness, for example, non-grasping state. So while there, again, that doesn't mean time to time the feelings won't arise, thoughts won't arise. But we are not promoting going back and again doing that, further investigation, because now we are trying to consolidate this emptiness. So therefore, we are using these different fields, either bodily sensations, either thoughts, either feelings, to develop this wisdom. As a result of that investigation, once our wisdom being uplifted, so try to be there. So be in that uplifted level. In case the mind go and again grab these things, again lift it back. So that's the point, no? That is that Buddha promotes in the Indriya Bhavana Sutta. So use this empty, very equanimous, calm, relaxed state as your refuge. That is as your home position. And while being there, in case mind itself has gone and grasping things and handling things and dealing things, okay, take the fellow back to the emptiness. So therefore, once we are lifted our attention to the level nothing being grasped, so that is the state we need to consolidate. So at that time, if we say that again feelings are arising, I am going back and I am trying to observe, no harm, but very much like we are little going back like. But again, now say for example, you completely lost emptiness. You lost emptiness and again you are back in the feelings, thoughts and all that. Then you need to do the groundwork. No excuse. Because now when you are developing emptiness, immediately you might not be able to establish yourself in emptiness. You need this groundwork. So that is the field that you are gathering your momentum. So you need to do this groundwork. But already if you are able to achieve this emptiness, then be there.
I'm actually not sure whether it is emptiness or not, but
right.
Let's say example, even in walking meditation, so you walk because you know that you are walking,
right.
And also like sometimes like you see things, but the difference is actually you don't have any thoughts. Like if you look at it from thought point of view, yes, it is like there is
free.
Nothing.
Right.
However, like I see,
right.
I see, I hear,
definitely.
And then I feel, but about the feeling or about what I see or about what I hear, I don't get any thoughts.
Correct. No need to.
Yeah.
And in that case, you are not supposed to say seeing, hearing.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
need.
Yeah.
No need.
Yeah.
Then again you are agitating the mind.
Yeah.
Because we went through that cycle.
Yeah.
Because at the beginning, in order to avoid distractions, we establish mindfulness, telling, seeing, hearing, fine. But later, we come to a level now that is not necessary. Now I can maintain a very relaxed mind, silent mind, without distractions, maintain that ability.
So if I understood correctly, like even in sitting meditation, what you are saying is like maybe initially that
noting is necessary.
Maybe required, but sometimes I can try, because I have tried, like even without noting anything. Let's say you just sit and like you think that I'm now seated, right? Then you feel the breath and you feel other things also, like without noting. But
no,
then
it doesn't mean that you are without noting. You are not verbalizing.
Not verbalizing.
Not verbalizing, but
otherwise,
still you see.
Yes,
still
mentally,
you are aware.
Yes, awareness is there. That's right. Awareness is there, but I don't note it, actively. Maybe I would say. So in that way also, maybe like you come to that mind where like there is awareness, but you don't go into anything, because let's say you don't get disturbed, like your mind is not getting disturbed, but still there could be various things where sometimes you cannot really identify, or like
those are actually, we can say like this. If we are talking linearly, kind of linear development of our path, so we can say at the beginning mind often get distracted, so we need something to grasp, something to hold on to. So therefore we are introducing breath, rising and falling, something. And we are holding that thoroughly so that our mind does not get shifted. So that is one stage. So that we need, basically. We can't immediately jump to this, right? So therefore we need this first stage. Now once you accomplish that, now you do a thorough investigation. So where your mind is established, what you being mindful, now you do a thorough investigation. So once you develop that thorough investigation, now you are developing certain wisdom as a result of that investigation. So now you come to another level, as you just mentioned. Now mind doesn't want to look at any of these. At the same time, it is not being distracted. So different phenomena are there. Sights are there, sounds are there, smells are there, touch sensations are there, thoughts are there. Mind doesn't want to look at any of these. Kind of disinterested. So sometimes we call it as choiceless awareness. Mind doesn't have any choice. It is just remain calm, but not yet free, by the way. These are almost like very close to you, but you don't need to involve, by the way. That's another level of practice. Now another stage is, now they go far away. Now they are not closer. Now your mind is free from thinking, no any perceptions, no sights coming and going. And then even though you see, your mind is not talking, even though you hear, mind is not talking. So everything has very far away, like now your practice has further matured. Then you need to dwell here, basically. Now we can't say it is the choiceless awareness, very much like the emptiness, where the empty area being expanded like. So then you better establish here. Then you should try to get such awareness, such emptiness, even while walking, while sitting, standing. So you are maximizing that capacity. So now there may be a state that you are simply there. You don't need to do anything to be there. Now previously it is not like that. You need to establish mindfulness, do a little bit of investigation, then you are building up that wisdom. So the wisdom is the one uplifting you to the emptiness. So you need this full cycle to go through, full practice to go through. But once you are fairly established here, you don't need this practice. You can jump here. You can simply jump there. It is very much like samatha practice now. So you are not doing Vipassana like, because emptiness become kind of a normal state of the mind, home position of the mind, naturally empty. So therefore, we can't give one answer. So we need to find out the kind of spectrum of where we are. Accordingly, we need to say, okay, if you are here, okay, you do this. If you are here, you do this. Something like that.
Much merit to you, Bhante.
Yeah. Okay, 1:30. Okay, since there is no more questions, anyone have any question? You have? No? Yeah, please.
Good afternoon, Bhante. Thank you very much for the guided meditation today. It brought a lot of stillness for me. I recognized a lot, I think, perhaps just the previous step of what she was speaking about, where the stillness came to the body, and then I think the stillness came to the mind, and finally just the breath started going still, and then I couldn't tell the difference between in and out breath. So then I got a bit scared. So I didn't know how to face that.
Definitely. This is another level where, say, at the beginning, you are able to recognize, differentiate, whether this is the in-breath, this is the out-breath. Now then you need to further promote it, recognizing even subtle aspects of breathing. Beginning of in-breath, middle of in-breath, end of in-breath, gap between in-breath and out-breath. So that means that we are refining our attention. Our resolution is further refined. And we may know many other little stuff now. So, but it doesn't go to the infinite level. At another level, this information start fading away. Now you can't figure out whether the beginning, the middle, the end, you can't figure out. And again you can't figure out whether it is in-breath or out-breath. Things are becoming calm, very relaxed, very refined, very subtle. You need to let it settle. So don't arouse any kind of gross state back to the mind. Let everything calm down. Let everything relax. Let everything fade away. You know that in the Anapanasati, so Buddha talks about 4 stages like Digang Vasa Santo, Rasang Vasa Santo, Sabbakaya Patisangvedi, and the 4th one is called the Passambhayang Kaya Sankhara. So Passambhayang Kaya Sankhara means you allow this breath cycle to completely calm down, to fade away, to disappear. Now you can't find out whether it is in-breath or out-breath. Something is there, but you can't know what it is. Even that will disappear. Like no breathing. So don't be afraid, don't breathe.
I was afraid of. I kept on getting scared and then being like, no, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. Focus on the breath.
Yeah.
Then just let that subside.
Yeah, you know that is, so that afraid, that fear, all are, as we just discussed, different kind of our sankharas. So now this Anapanasati help us to reduce all that, relax, calm down, and just stay in that calm, tranquil state. You are not making any things now. You are not fabricating any things. So the body takes care of its own, the maintenance. It knows what is the amount of oxygen necessary. We don't need to worry.
Much better. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Hello, Bhante.
Yeah.
I would like to know how to determine the difference between falling asleep and reaching the voidness.
So first you sleep, then you reach voidness. Because at the beginning it's very difficult, because you know that we are awake when mind has some cluttering or some kind of activities, but when mind doesn't have much activity, it goes to sleep. And later we need to find out how the mind can be awake without activities. You got the point, right? Now that's why we are very much like we keep our mind awake by agitating the mind. So when we are looking at a cricket match, so we are fully awake. When you are looking at when someone is fighting, fully awake. When there are lustful thoughts, fully awake. When there are some doubtful thoughts, fully awake. So because all that agitates the mind. But when you are doing Anapanasati, you fall asleep. Because it's relaxing, calming down, no agitation, and it is tranquilizing. So then we need to find out, so when we do Anapanasati, no any kind of seeing, hearing, all that is not there, and almost like no thoughts, almost like even the breath has disappeared. Can I be awake? So this is a state that we are kind of refining our mindfulness. So previously our mindfulness is not such refined, so it easily go to the sleep when it doesn't have anything to crunch. But when nothing is there, it go to sleep. So, but later you may come to a level, okay, nothing is there, but still fully awake. So it will happen naturally. You don't need to, So that's why we promote even mindful walking. So while walking, it is very difficult to sleep, but you are refining your faculties. So very refined information you are further and further investigating, so that refinement is going on. So when it is present, while sitting also, now you can manage without falling asleep. So later, once you are doing some Vipassana practice and arrive the emptiness, there are also possibility that you fall asleep. But that also has to be further developed, not to fall asleep. So nothing is there in the mind, but fully awake, fully aware, not sleeping. It's gradually will happen.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So you mean, just playing with words, it's not on, not off, or the mind?
Not something like that. Yes,
Thanks.
yes, yeah. Okay, I think now we have come to the end of. Please, yeah, there's another one.
Avasarai Bhante, this follows from the guided meditation.
Right.
When the breath becomes so subtle that you can't feel it,
Right.
what do you concentrate on then?
Nothing. Just be.
What is the point of, you just...
Just stay calm and see.
Okay.
Because the point is, now we think we need something to be mindful. But it is not. We can be mindful without anything. So the breath is a tool, take us to that level. So at first we are using the breath to be mindful as an object, but slowly, breath is taking us to an objectless level, almost like. So while no breath, still be mindful. So in a way we can say we are coming to a fairly concentrated level. Even though nothing is there, now mind is not being restless or agitated or anything, but it's maintaining its calmness, tranquility. So therefore it's another level of samadhi where we can be mindful, we can have certain concentration with a gross object. Again we can be mindful, we can have concentration with a subtle object. Again we can have concentration without an object. Mindful without an object. So once you reach that, just patiently stay there and see. Because in Anapanasati, you will reach the second stage by going through this. So this all bodily formations calm down, almost like disappeared, then only you are coming to the Piti Sukha. You go through this stage, and then probably you might feel like floating, and the goosebumps coming out and happiness coming out. Different things can happen. You can't expect that either. So, but at this level, it's a matter of maintaining that. So don't fall asleep also.
What happens when the breath is subtle, but you suddenly get sensations? Do you look at the sensations?
That is also possible.
Possible. And even the thoughts?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because sensations appearing means that you get some fertilizer, some raw material for your practice. So, different paths actually. Now when it comes to Piti Sukha, that also can manifest as different sensations. Piti, the rapture, can be bodily sensed. You get different kind of goosebumps or tickling kind of sensation. So different things can happen. You better observe them. Yeah. Okay, then we'll wind up the session and not to mention, no? Okay. So we have spent some time today also, and in the morning also we had some Dhamma sermon, and we participated in Dhamma discussion now, and some of you involved with offering dana. So all these merits what we have accumulated, we share with all our past relatives or celestial beings and whoever in need of merits. Mr. Ranasinghe. So the sharing of merits leads to Miss Disna Ranasinghe is the one offered dana today and breakfast today, and she wants to offer merits to her father, Mr. Ranasinghe. Yeah. So, and again we wish all merits help us also to attain path fruition Nibbana, and we'll recite the traditional verses. එතාවතාච අම්හෙහි සම්බතං පුඤ්ඤ සම්පදං සම්බේ දේවා අනුමෝදන්තු සබ්බ සම්පatti සිද්ධියා එතාවතාච අම්හෙහි සම්බතං පුඤ්ඤ සම්පදං සම්බේ භූතා අනුමෝදන්තු සබ්බ සම්පatti සිද්ධියා එතාවතාච අම්හෙහි සම්බතං පුඤ්ඤ සම්පදං සම්මේ සත්තා අනුමෝදන්තු සබ්බ සම්පatti සිද්ධියා ආකාසට්ඨා ච බුම්මට්ඨා දේවා නාග මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරං රක්ඛන්තු ශාසනං ආකාසට්ඨා ච බුම්මට්ඨා දේවා නාග මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරං රක්ඛන්තු දේශනං ආකාසට්ඨා ච පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිत्वा චිරං රක්ඛන්තු මම් පරං ඉදං වෝ ඥාතේනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ ඉදං වෝ ඥාතේනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ ඉදං වෝ ඥාතේනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ ඉමිනා පුඤ්ඤ කම්මේන මාමේ බාල සමාගමෝ සතං සමාගමෝ හෝතු යාව නිබ්බානපත්තියා ඉමිනා පුඤ්ඤ කම්මේන මාමේ බාල සමාගමෝ සතං සමාගමෝ හෝතු යාව නිබ්බානපත්තියා ඉමිනා පුඤ්ඤ කම්මේන මාමේ බාල සමාගමෝ සතං සමාගමෝ හෝතු යාව නිබ්බානපත්තියා sadhu sadhu sadhu. Okay, you may recite Namo Tassa 3 times to observe Ajiva Attamaka Sila. Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi Sanghang saranang gacchāmi Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchāmi Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchāmi Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchāmi Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchāmi Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchāmi Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchāmi Saranagamanang sampunnang Pānātipātā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi Adinnādānā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi Kāmesu miccācārā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi Musāvādā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi Pisunā vācā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi Parusā vācā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi Sampappalāpā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi Miccā ājīvā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi Tisaranena saddhiṃ ājīvāṭṭhamaka sīlaṃ dhammaṃ sādhukaṃ surakkitaṃ kattvā apamādena sampādē tabbang